Palworld is the newest craze to hit the internet, and my goodness, I can see why. This game is ridiculous, it is fun, it is controversial in some elements, but my goodness, I'm enjoying my time with Palworld. I'll say it straight up, it's the Pokemon game we've all wanted, so you can see why that might cause a few problems. This game has been nicknamed Pokemon with Guns, and you can see why. A lot of the designs of the POWs, as they call them in this, are very similar to certain Pokemon. In my opinion, I see that as more as an art style, less of trying to copy Pokemon. And the creatures are fun. Obviously, there's like a Pokedex type thing as well. There's a lot of similarities with other games. But this game is different enough to where it's actually a lot of fun. It's got survival elements from games like Breath of the Wild and Rust, and even like Lego Fortnite, I guess, a little bit, which is ridiculous. What? It's a ridiculous concept in general. Like, it's so weird and funny, but also kind of delightful at the same time.
That's what she said.
And I genuinely think this is the game that people have been wanting from Pokemon for years now, which is this open world RPG. We kind of got it with Arceus a little bit. It got close for sure. And I remember playing Arceus and going, this is the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in a long time. And then this kind of just hits that spot that was missing from Arceus a little bit. But you can see why that might cause some controversy on the internet. People on Twitter and elsewhere saying that it's very similar to Pokemon. How are they getting away with this and everything? Obviously, Pokemon have now come out with a statement saying that they're investigating it.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
Again, I see that as more of a, we know about the game, please stop telling us about it. Because if you actually do some research into how this sort of came about, you know, what could Nintendo do? What's the limits on the fair use? It's not actually a case for Nintendo to do anything.
Who's laughing now?
Again, rumors of AI use. Apparently that's not true. There's just a weird controversy around this game. And it feels like that's happening with gaming a lot nowadays, where if it's a big game, there's some sort of controversy to go with it.
Coincidence? I think not!
Gone are the days where you can just sort of play a video game and enjoy it and have your piece of cake and eat it, right? But I'm, for the most part, going to just try and stick to the game itself and how it's a lot of fun. I'm genuinely enjoying this game a lot. Like I said, it's got survival elements from Breath of the Wild and Rust. It's got those Pokemon elements. The combat's quite a lot of fun. The sort of building your base up is quite fun as well. But there is one thing with the base I wish was a little bigger. I wish there was a bit more space to go out and build stuff. I know you can build multiple bases. Where I'm up to now, I can have 2 bases, which is cool, but I still think there's not enough room per base. That little circle, it sort of gives you where pals can work on stuff. I don't think is big enough. I think it should be a little bigger. Maybe that comes with progression. Someone can let me know down in the comments. But obviously, I'm not the only one having a lot of fun with this game. A few days ago on Steam, Palworld was at the second highest player count in terms of peak player count at 1.8 million. It's now hit 2 million peak players, which is insane. The growth of this game has been rapid. It's sold like 8 million copies in 7 days. It's topping the Steam charts right now, only under PUBG. And I don't think, if I'm honest, I don't think PUBG's really gonna get beaten anytime soon, because that's a ridiculous number. 3.3 million peak players is a crazy number to try and beat. So it's interesting that Palworld has gotten 2 mil so quickly. And I think that's partly due to it's a ridiculous concept, so there's getting a lot of attention. And then also people see that ridiculous concept and go, well, I have to try it. This is hilarious. And then they try it and they actually see it's a lot deeper than the ridiculous, oh, I can butcher a POW and, you know, capture humans and put them in a cage. You know, there's more to it than that.
Stop it.
There is a game here that is actually super fun, super delightful in terms of like, as long as you stay away from the brutal weird stuff, it's fine. But obviously the game is in early access, so there's a lot of stuff that's unfinished that needs to be added. There's a lot of bugs and stuff, especially in multiplayer. I've also heard that the Xbox version and the Game Pass version is a lot more buggy than Steam, which is interesting. I've heard multiplayer is a lot of fun. They plan on adding stuff like PvP and all these other sort of elements to multiplayer and the survival element of the game, which is interesting. They've released a roadmap, which includes stuff like raid bosses, a power arena, crossplay between Steam and Xbox, and obviously other various server transfer migrations, new island, bosses, POWs, all this other stuff that's going to be added in the future. This game is very early access right now, but honestly what it's offering so far is really promising. I actually really enjoy the progression of the game, sort of leveling up and then getting to level my stats and then level up my tech tree, discovering all the pals, all that kind of stuff. It's a really decent progression system so far, and it's not too quick either. And it's not too slow. It's sort of that right amount of speed where it feels like I'm progressing. I'm not sure how it is in the later stages. I'm only about level 20 or so it might slow down a lot as you get through it. I don't know what it's like towards the end game sort of stuff. I haven't even unlocked like rifles that I can build myself. However, that hasn't stopped me from using guns, because you can equip guns to your pals. They have like these special, almost like Overwatch like ultimate abilities that you can use. You can ride them. You can have them have guns, you can use one as a flamethrower, and each one sort of feels like its own thing, right? There's a lot of these ones where it just has their own little ability, and it's really cool, and you can have that in your party and switch it up and all this other stuff. And it's so interesting that this game's blown up, because this wasn't really on my radar. I remember when it sort of first got announced and they were showing gameplay for it. It was very much like, oh, this is going to be bad. Like, this is going to look janky. Kind of getting roasted on the internet. That's where the tag Pokemon with guns sort of came from, when that was getting shown off in the trailers and stuff. But now that the game's actually out and playable for people, we've all very quickly realized that there's actually a really good video game behind this, and the devs are really passionate about what they're doing. Especially the CEO, actually, sort of when there's the controversy going around, all the AI stuff, the Nintendo stuff, he did come out and be like, yo, come for me, not for the devs, not the company. They're like actually defending his dev team, which was actually super refreshing to see from someone in a top spot in a gaming company. But yeah, man, this game is just so addicting. It's so much fun. I haven't played the multiplayer yet. I'm sort of just vibing on my own in this game. I'll play for a couple hours, you know, at night, sort of just to chill out, do my own thing. Even the boss fights are pretty cool. Like the one I faced was like this chick that was riding a big like zappy thunder thing that I know later on can have a minigun, which is nuts. But even that boss fight was fairly entertaining. If you face tough enemies, you actually have to think about what you're doing, what you're using, which powers you're using, what abilities you're using, what weapons you're using. So the game has depth, man, and I think that's why it might actually succeed later down the line, especially when early access sort of comes to an end. This is the next test for this game, is whether it can hold the retention of all these people that are now playing it and watching it very closely. Can it hold that retention up until launch? We see stuff like that with Valheim, where it blew up on launch and it sort of very slowly died down. People are still paying attention to it. People are still loving it. That game is awesome. Can't wait for that to be finished. But that is the next test for Palworld, whether it can retain that attention or at least get a spike again when it launches fully. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of Palworld. Have you played it yet? Are you just kind of watching it? Do you agree with a little bit of the controversy that surrounds it in terms of the likeness that it has to Pokemon? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm enjoying the game a lot. And if you liked the video, please leave it a like, comment down below what you thought, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.